video, I'm going to share with you 10 different ways you can make money that don't necessarily have an age restriction. So you don't have to be 18, you don't have to be 21 in order to make money with some of these different sources. And I'm not here to sell you anything today. I don't have an online course to sell to you. I hate when people make these videos and their solution for making money for other people is to just sell you their $1,000 course that they're trying to just pitch you on the entire video. So I'm not doing that today. The only thing I do ask is that you subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one. And if you find the video to be helpful, don't forget to drop a like and leave a comment down below on your thoughts on some other ways to make some money. So without any further ado, let's get into this video. Let's start with number 10 here, which is something that I don't hear too often, but I think it's really easy to sell to a lot of people. And that is by digitizing family photo books for other people. So the reason why this is so easy to sell is because it's a very sentimental item. And when I think about my family photos, this is one of the things that I really care about in my life. See, you could always make more money, but you can never get those family photos back. And so, you know, if my family's house was to ever burn down, if my parents' house were to ever burn down, God forbid, but if that ever happened, the one thing that I would really care about most is all those memories, the 18 years of my life that I spent in their house, all those memories that I would have that were lost, all those photos that were lost. So that's a really easy way to sort of pitch that product or that service to other people without obviously being sleazy about it. Don't be high pressure sales with selling this service, but I think a lot of people would be willing to pay for this service. It's something that I personally would be willing to pay for somebody to digitize my family photos. And you can set up different pricing models for this. You can either price it per photo book, maybe do it hourly, however you want to set it up. It's not hard to do. You just get a scanner, put it on your computer, and then upload it to the cloud, maybe throw it on a USB drive, however they want it in that form. So that is number 10. I think it's a cool option for a lot of people. You don't have to be any specific age in order to make money with that. Number 9 is to wash windows. Now, my brother's first real mentor was actually a window washer. He owned a window washing company, and this guy started when he was in high school by washing his family's windows and then his neighbors' windows and the neighbors of neighbors. Now he's making hundreds of thousands of dollars per year by washing windows. He washes windows at Princeton, at hospitals, at senior living homes, many universities in the local area, and he's making a pretty decent amount of money from starting when he was in high school to where he is now. He's in his 40s now, but he's doing very well with this business. So washing windows, I don't want to promote any dangerous activity, so be careful, obviously. Don't be climbing up, dangling from ladders 25 feet in the air. Be very careful with it, but it's something that you can do, and it's not hard to get set up with this. Besides buying a ladder, which you don't always need, you can really, you can get a squeegee at Lowe's for $12.
In the past 7 days, we've done over $100,000 in sales, and this is all.
And then you get some buckets, you get some soap, you get some other towels and whatnot. It's a pretty easy setup, but you just get a squeegee, and there's a certain form to it, certain kind of art form. Takes maybe a couple weeks to learn at most. You just practice on your own window, and you can start washing windows for other people and for businesses. That is an option for people. Number 8 is to buy and sell phones. I see Apple Kreider talking about this sometimes. This is something that he used to do, and you don't have to necessarily sell these online on places like eBay if you're not able to do that. But you can buy them from your friends, you can buy them from local sources, even from Craigslist, and then flip them and sell them. Now, a way to even boost your profits even more is to repair phone screens. So if you're good at repairing phone screens, it probably has a knack to it. I've never repaired a phone screen, so I can't specifically talk on that too much, but I can tell you that there is money in that, and you can certainly make a pretty decent amount of money by buying phones from friends, from families, from other people that you might see on the street. You say, hey, I see you have a broken phone there, you want me to just buy it off of you, and then, or you can find somebody in public. Maybe you're at an ice cream shop and you say, hey, person in front of me in line, I see you have a broken phone screen. I can fix that for you for $40 or whatever your price might be. I'm not sure how much it costs to repair phones, but that's something you could do as well. Number 7 is to become a video editor for YouTubers. Now, this is not something you can learn overnight. You can't just decide to be a video editor and next week you're gonna be one. It takes a lot of time and skills to really build this up to be good at editing videos. But if you can build this skill up over time and you can get better at cameras and videography and understanding how to make films, then this is something that you could do. And this is really more and more prevalent that we see YouTubers, there's thousands of YouTubers, there's hundreds of thousands of YouTubers, but the top ones, they never actually edit their own videos. They outsource that work to somebody else. And a lot of YouTubers who say live in Los Angeles actually have video editors somewhere over in Europe. So like the UK, they have them in London, in Germany sometimes, who will edit their videos while the YouTuber sleeps. So they're always getting content now. It's a really interesting concept, but there's more and more room out there for video editors to edit for other creators, or even for businesses. You can offer video services as well. You can expand that and make commercials for businesses and whatnot. Obviously, like I said, it's not just a simple thing where you just go out and you say you're going to be a video editor and the next day you're a video editor. It takes a lot of time, a lot of skill to build that up. So I don't want to underplay it and make it sound like it's easy to do. So number 6 actually comes with a pretty funny story, but that is by scrapping metal. So this is something that I did from probably first grade through high school. I would just save aluminum cans, and I probably made a few $100s over that time by just having an extra bin next to the recycling bin for aluminum cans. People just throw them in there. Super passive way to make money. And it reminds me of this story that I heard that you could probably find online somewhere, of this woman who literally funded an entire community swimming pool with aluminum cans over her lifetime. She was saving aluminum cans to the point where she cashed them in and had enough money to fund a community swimming pool. So if you're looking for some extra ways to make some money, that's just a great passive way to make some money, a few $100s over a pretty long period of time, but it is something you can do. And you can be more active about this as well. If you don't want to be passive, if you want to make more money by scrapping metal, you can look for different sources of metal. So you can scrap steel, you can
Invest as little as £1 in the world's leading companies completely free, only with Trading 212.
Introducing the FX Pro app, a new way of trading on the go. Keep the markets at your
scrap copper. Copper's a couple dollars a pound at least, and various other metals as well. You can look up something called iScrap. I think it's called iScrap.com. Not sponsored. I barely even know what the website's called, but I end up on it every couple of months looking at the scrap prices for metal. But you can see all the scrap prices in your local scrap yards and how much money you can get for scrapping certain metals in your area. Number 5 is to resell vintage clothing. Now, for some reason, it seems as though when you throw the word vintage in front of something, it somehow doubles the price of it. And I don't really understand why, but it does. So when I was in Venice Beach last week, I noticed all these vintage clothing stores selling these jackets, these bomber jackets and other types of flannel shirts and stuff for like 80, 90, $100+ for a lot of these things that I could find in my hometown for 50 cents Sunday at the local thrift shop. So this obviously creates a pretty obvious business opportunity here. You can buy clothes at certain places if you source them correctly and then resell them as vintage to other people who might have maybe a little bit too much money on their hands, and maybe they're just really stylish and they like how it looks, from a 1980s Chicago Bulls bomber jacket that they might pay $150 for, that you got for $1.50 at your local thrift shop, or maybe from somebody that you know who just threw it on the side of the road. So it's an option for a lot of people. And the best way to do this is obviously selling it online, selling it on Etsy, selling it on eBay. But if you can't do that because your parents won't help you set up an eBay account or won't help you set up an Etsy account, then you could still do it locally. You could still sell them locally on some other apps like Letgo, OfferUp, Craigslist. Be careful with Craigslist. Be careful with all those. If you're actually meeting up with people, you definitely have your parents with you or somebody who can help you out if you need any help with that. Just a little warning there. So for number 4, we're going to kind of jumble a bunch in here together, and that is by doing any services in your local community. So more specifically, we're talking about something like yard work, selling firewood, doing some small-scale landscaping operations, shoveling snow removal. There's a lot of different possibilities: painting houses, painting the insides of the house, doing some other odd jobs that you might find within your local community. I know I worked on an alpaca farm for a little while, and I'm not a big fan of alpacas. I learned too much about them, and they're just not my favorite animals. Let's not get into that. But the easiest way to do this is to just look at your local newspaper or your local ads, maybe on Craigslist, and find out what services people are offering, and then just figure out how to do it and then offer it to other people. A lot of these are pretty straightforward. Don't do something that you're not terribly comfortable with. Like, don't be trying to chop down trees if you've never used a chainsaw before. But if it's raking leaves, then go for it. It's a way to make money, and I think a lot of people overlook this because they don't want to work with their hands. But it's a very upfront business, cash in the hands, and it's pretty straightforward. So I think it's something that people should do if they're looking to make some money. It's pretty straightforward, pretty easy to do. So another way that you can make money, this is something you could do if you're in school, maybe you're in middle school, junior high, high school. I did this in 6th and 7th grade, is selling candy, selling gum, selling other stuff in school, pretty much supply and demand, find what kids want and sell it to them. Obviously make sure
Y'all makes it so easy to see how much money you're spending.
Warning! What you're about to see has helped dozens of completely average, everyday
Everything's legal. Don't be selling anything illegal. But it's pretty easy to do. A lot of kids, they'll get lunch money, or they'll have some dollar bills that you can sell them a pack of gum for $3 that you bought for 75 cents. That's what I did when I was in 6th grade. And the main reason for this is because they banned gum in school. So what did I do? I bought gum and sold it in school because everybody wanted it. And that's something you can do. I made probably $10, $15 a day. Not much money, but it was pretty easy. You just throw some packs of gum in your backpack and then just sell it throughout the day. Number 2 is very hands-on, but it is a great way to make some cash, and that is by running your own mobile oil changing service. Now, when people hear this, they first think, I don't know how to change oil. How do you do that? Trust me, it's not terribly difficult to do. I've been doing it my entire life. It's not hard to learn. It's very straightforward. I think I've been saying straightforward a lot in this video, but it's very easy to do to change oil on a vehicle. But more on top of this though, what you can do is hit them with the upsells. Obviously be ethical about it. Don't be trying to upsell them on something that doesn't need to be sold. But for example, if you go over to somebody's house and you change the oil in their vehicle, which might take you 30 minutes maybe to do, you can say, hey, by the way, I notice your car is pretty dirty. You want me to wash that for you? You can do it for an extra $15. Or maybe you want to vacuum the inside of the car, maybe change transmission fluid, maybe test the battery, maybe do some other tests on the vehicle. And you can upsell them on a lot of different products or services for their vehicle. And that's something that I would personally do. This is the kind of the business model of Jiffy Lube and other oil changing services. They'll get you in there for the oil change, and then they'll upsell you on a lot of different things. Obviously, make sure that you're being honest about it, and also don't be doing something that you're not comfortable doing or that you're not knowledgeable about when you're dealing with a vehicle. So don't be trying to change brake lines if you've never done it before. That's not a good idea. Leave that stuff up to the mechanic. But I'm talking about the simple things like changing oil, changing the fluids in a vehicle, checking different things on the vehicle, something that you can upsell for some of those cars. Number 1 is to start your own podcast. Some of the top podcasters right now are making over $1 million per year by running ads on their podcast. So the reason why this can be really interesting is because there's not that many podcasters out there, but also you're really establishing this pretty deep connection with your listeners through a podcast. So you might talk for an hour on your podcast, and you're talking to that person. You're in their ear with their headphones on, talking to them for an hour. And imagine how much impact that could have if you have millions of listeners, millions of downloads every month. It can really add up, and you can not only gain some influence and help some people, but you can also make some money by running ads, because those people will trust you when you're running those ads. That's why you get really high ad rates with podcasts, because the people trust the person who's talking in the podcast. So that's something you can do at any